Verse 1 was 4 and 10. And Jabez called on the Lord of Israel, saying, "O that thou would bless me indeed, and enlarge my course, and that thy hands might be with me, and that thou would keep me from evil, that is, may not grievous me." And God granted him that he because of the law, the reading of the scripture.
Father God, I come at this time acknowledging you as my personal Lord and Savior. And Father, I want to thank you for all the things that you've done for each and every one of us. And I ask that you bless everybody here and everybody on the internet and everybody that's on the way, Father God. And I ask that you will please forgive me for all our sins and wrongdoing. Father, I thank you. And I ask that you will bless our children and keep them safe, Father, and continue to keep us all safe from the virus that's been going around, Father. Just want to thank you for so many blessings, Father. And I ask that you would have us to open up our hearts and minds to see what you have for us tonight. And I want to thank you for your son, Jesus, who died on the cross for all of our sins. In Jesus' name I pray, amen.
Amen. So once again, good evening, everyone. Do we have any prayer requests?
I'm asking prayer for my family, and I'm asking for a special prayer for my sisters who are the hospital.
Prayer for the Sewell and Perry family.
Any more prayer requests?
I want to ask for prayer for my grandson on the road. And not only just him, but everybody. Traveling for everybody.
And I have a couple of programs that I'm the reading in December. So they could bury him on track and on Tuesday. That's the draft of those that, have cancer, and for the families of those that have cancer. And, one of my tenants asked me to, pray for her tonight. She has some kind of blood disorder, and she's trying to get treatment, so she's just asking for prayer.
Any more prayer requests?
I'm asking for prayer for my family, a special prayer for my queen, she on the stuff, and prayer for myself.
For me and my family in the Conway.
Any more prayer requests?
Continue to pray for the devil. Everybody else in the room.
Pray out for, the police, and, we want to start taking, and also,
Continue to pray for my family and especially pray for my sister.
Okay.
Prayer, family grace.
Oh, yeah, continuous prayer for my mother. She's still in rehab. She's doing a lot better. Got a word from my sister even saying that she has so much fun in that rehab that she might have. That's telling me right there. She's doing a whole lot better than she was. Just continue to keep praying. And welcome.
Those that work in the church, let the doctor come in the church. And they make it about for the reasons that I'm talking about in my day, and I can't do somebody else in the church. I'm just
depression and those that, have mental health issues that they don't talk about. And,
How about President Thanksgiving? Here's the President Thanksgiving. President Thanksgiving.
I lost my smell and my taste again, but I didn't testify to the COVID. But I got kind of scared, because I thought I had it again. But I'm grateful, you know, that it was negative, and thank God I started feeling it.
We don't have any more prayer requests for President Thanksgiving. I'll pray for all the prayer requests. If you don't mind, you close the time. If you feel like it's not, let me know. Feel like it? Sometimes it's just that, you know, sometimes you don't feel good, you just don't, you know. So I like to ask. I really see that that's used to continue to bless us, all of us that's coming here, all of us out there. Father, we ask you to, all of us out there, that need to come back, bring them back. We need to fill our church back up like we did. Father, we want to bless all those that have traveling grace, Sister Moses, Sister, special blessing for her, special blessing for everyone of you, Kim, and we all have special prayers that we need, and just have to strengthen us, Lord Jesus, to make us understand what we're going through, and that you're going to bring us through it, because we know you will. Lord, we ask you to bless all those out there with addictions and mental issues. There's a lot of people that have mental issues that don't realize, and there's a lot of them that have it, and they just don't know how to get help. There's always help guidance, Lord, so they get help for all their mental issues and addictions. Father, we ask you to bless all the parents and siblings and relatives that's in the hospitals and nursing homes, and bless all the bereavement family, Lord. Give them strength and balance. Comfort them, Lord, because death is something that we all have to go through, and we just need to lean on you for your comfort. We know that you know how to comfort us, so help us do it. Father, we ask all these blessings in your Son's name. Amen.
I pray that you created us a clean heart and you are right to do the things. And Lord, I pray that we get the word tonight and hide it in our hearts, Lord. I just want to thank you for another word, Lord, because we all need your word, Lord. Please, and all of the blessings, I ask in your Son, Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen. Get a word from the Lord. All right, let's winning 13th chapter, last chapter of 2 Corinthians. We're gonna get at least half of it done tonight. And we're gonna we'll get half of it. In fact, maybe if I get half of it done before the 7:45, we'll still go on. Second Corinthians 13th chapter, verse 1.
This is the third time I am coming to you. In the mouth of 2 or 3 witnesses shall
Okay.
every word be
In other
established.
words, he had been to him more than one time, and you know it's 3 levels to Corinthians. One level they call it the lost level, but one he was really pretty hard on them, and they had to respond back. So he said, "This is the third time." You know, you say it's kind of like, you know what? I've been, parents, sometimes we do that with our children. Now, this is my last time. I'm if you don't give me now, there's going to be some consequences. And that's what Paul was saying. He said, this is the third, and he used the word 3 because that's was established. In the mouth of 2 or 3 witnesses, Deuteronomy, I think 19, 17, it's also stated in Matthew 18 and 16. And the mouth of 2 or 3, even our court system is set up like that. And the mouth, you have to have 2 or 3 witnesses. Other than that is one word against other. And before you take on, but we just take the word of one and we go with it. That's how gospel starts. That's how lives get. You don't validate for you. Sometimes you don't want to validate. It sounds so juicy, you just want to go tell somebody about it. So get validation for one. And that's why as a pastor, I don't go by people start hearing something. I don't go by what I'm hearing. I have to see it for myself. But if people see you respond to these things you hear, they'll use it like a robot. So he said this is the third time. This is the last time. And let's get the second verse of 13th chapter.
I told you before and foretell you, as if I were present the second time. And then after now I write to them which heretofore have sinned. And to all others that
this is the third time. God told you about the sin, and you still haven't repented. He said, undoubtedly, I want you to get this right. Because when I get there, I like for it to be a really good, sweet fellowship. But I'm not going to be able to do it because I'm going to have to come in another role. Now, I can come to you as another brother in the Lord, or I can come to you in my apostolic authority. And I'm asking you to get it right. You know what, stuff? When you're preaching, you hear the preaching, no matter who it's come from, and just because nobody don't come to you, or I don't come to you, listen to God. Amen. Don't let nobody have to, come on now, embarrass you before you get it right.
Amen.
Okay, come on.
I come again and I will not spare.
In other words, I'm going to use my apostolic authority.
Verse 3.
Wait, no. It's authority. In other words, there's something, he said, I'm going to come to you. I want the church to get it right. But I'm going to come to you. Firstly, church discipline is something that's firm in most churches. Most churches let everything going on, but you can't let it go. But so Paul, he said, I want this woman, but you can't just let things keep on going. I'll let a lot of things go, but sometimes you have to address it because a little levels a whole month. Before you know it, everybody be doing it, and it get out of hand because you are teaching by your action as much as you are by your word. A lot of times, you don't want to direct, if you let things go too far, people say, well, might be nothing wrong, Pastor said. But sometimes in not saying that, it just gives you a time to repent. You, look, we teach this. You are not going to hell trying to play off, committing sin, and not getting forgiven. And forgiven to repent means I change my mind, I change my direction, I turn away from my, that's what it said in Thessalonians, in Thessalonians 1:9. I turn away from my idols or from my sin, and I turn toward God. Repenting is necessary. Luke said, the Dr. Luke said, except you repent, you will, not you may, you will likewise perish. What does that mean, likewise perish? If you don't repent, you are not going to hell. Especially 1 John 2:29. Let's read that. 1 John 2:29. And say, you know to do right and don't do it, it's saying you ain't born again. It is more evident that you are not born again if you know to do right.
If you know that he is righteous, ye know that everyone that doeth righteous is born of him.
So what you have to imply if you're not born right? You're not born again. Don't fool yourself. We're going to get to that verse. Stop fooling yourself. You cannot be saved and do the stuff that unsaved people do. You cannot be saved and practice sin. You can't. That is not Bible. You might have it in your little twisted up mind to think you saved, but now you can sin and be saved, but you can't practice sin and be saved. All of us sin. But if you can sin and go on like you ain't doing nothing wrong with you, you better get on your knees because you are on your way to hell. I know you didn't come tonight to hear it. Come on. So he said, now I'm gonna come to my thought. I'm gonna rebuke you. And that's that kind of thing. We always say we don't emphasize this enough. It's my job, but I'm gonna get there. It's my job to rebuke, preach the word, and see whatever that. Go on, say the rest of it. Yeah, you got that. All right, go finish the rest of it. So let's read it then. Let's read it. You don't want to get that. You don't want to get the big offering. Come on. What? They say what? For to rebuke and correct. Sometimes you preach and teach it for correction. Sometimes it's for example. But you can't just make people feel good all the time and they ain't doing good. You got to rebuke sometimes. You got to call sin what it is sometimes. And sometimes you get too scared to call out, people keep on getting too comfortable. And you can get too comfortable. You be a watchman. God gonna deal with me. Ezekiel 33rd chapter talk about the watchman. If a watchman is somebody that stands on the tower and let you know when the enemy is coming. In other words, let you know when you got sin in your life that's destructive to your life, not only your internal life, but even your life here. So a watchman warned you. They're supposed to blow it home. Now, I was in the military, we used to have what they call watch duties, what they call dawn. You know, if you got caught sleeping, and that was just when I was in basic training, you was in serious trouble. They still would send you home. That's a serious matter, right? Because God do it, yeah. What make that so serious? Because you sleeping on the job, everybody else in the enemy will come and kill them while they're in their sleep. So that watchman, really, they would get an altar 15. Some of them would go to jail, because that's a serious matter. serious matter, and I'm as a watchman, don't warn you when the devil is throwing stuff in your way.
Amen. Amen.
Now, if I do my job, that's what you got to be easy. If I do my job, it's not on me. I told you they were coming and you didn't get yourself ready. Then I'm on. But if I didn't say nothing to you, and you're going to, God will hold me accountable. And sometimes I have to review. Oh, let's read. Come on, let's read. Timothy 5:19. And see, sometimes some of y'all look at me funny. I'll try to look at you for a while. That don't work. I'll say so. I ain't scared of, I'm more scared of God than I am of you.
Amen. Amen.
Come on, let's read that. 1 Timothy 5:19. Then we're gonna end that part up with Hebrews 3:17. Go ahead.
Against an elder receive not an accusation.
Now wait a minute. He said elder. So Paul is telling Timothy, who is a young man, but he's in his pastoral. See, Timothy was Paul was, but he's letting him know as a pastor. They may be older than you, but in your role, I'm telling you, rebuke the elder. An elder was another preacher, or they wasn't in the same church. But he gave them he said, rebuke the elder. Rebuke other leaders. Rebuke your deacons if you have to. We're going to tell you why. Come on.
Before 2 or 3 witnesses.
There are 2 or 3 witnesses in there.
Them they sin.
And so sometimes it's good, but now we know, don't go too fast. Now they still keep it in Matthew. Let's carry them along together so we won't get it confused. 18th chapter of Matthew, verse 15 to 18 to 20. Let's go.
18th chapter, verse
18:15.
If your brother sins against you, and show him his fault, just between the two of you. If he listens to you,
Okay, that's good. Now the first thing you do, Deacon me, I go to, I talk to him. Say, the deacon, look, you're doing this, and everybody sees it, and I don't say nothing. They're gonna either they're gonna think that they can get away with it, or they're gonna think that there's not nothing wrong with it. One of the two. He get it with me, or don't say nothing, but keep on doing. Then I gotta go to Timothy. Come on.
Give the sin rebuke before
What you do? Go ahead. Finish reading. Listen, come on.
I'm sorry.
Now here's where you catch 2 or 3 weeks.
But if he will not listen, take 1 or 2 others along.
See, you don't leave with 1 or 2 because there's a mouth for 2 or 3 witnesses. You take 1 of them, you still got the 2. Okay? And then you got the 3. And that's good to say. Now, I'm setting myself up. He didn't listen. So I don't come back. It won't be my word against his. So when so this coming to the church if they don't get it done. I got a witness. So when I openly rebuke him in front of the church, he can't say I didn't. There you go. Come on. Let's go. Now go ahead and finish reading, and then we'll go back to Timothy. Go ahead.
So that every matter may be established by the testimony of 2 or 3 witnesses.
There you go again. Go ahead.
If he refuses to listen to them, tell it to the church. And if he refuses to listen even to the church, treat him as you would a pagan or a tax collector.
All right. How you do that? You can come to church to get out of our quiet. Because we don't do what we say you have to be quiet. You have to come to Bible study, you have to be born again. So I'm going to treat you like an unbeliever. You're not born again, so you can't say. You don't need to be on a deacon board. The board needs to be on you. You got to be on the deacon board. You follow what I'm saying?
Give his sin rebuke before all, that others also may.
How you do it?
Rebuke before all.
Before who? So don't feel sorry for nobody if they don't listen. And I done went through the process, and they keep on being disrupted, and I done told them over and over. Why do I rebuke them before the church? Because if I rebuke them before the church, it offers a deterrent of somebody else doing the same thing. Especially if I do Reverend Bible, or I do Grenade, or I do the deacon. Because you say, if he get on hard, you know he's going to do it. So I'll be less than a pastor if I didn't rebuke my wife, my preacher, or my deacon. It's a teaching my mom. It teaches you that is a behavior that's not. And either they obey or go. Yes, that's it. And the Bible says, I ain't worried about it that leave. And you can still be here and leave. You know how you can leave and not be here? You're here, but you're not here. The Bible says, don't worry about folks that they leave and they want right. Because why? They were never part of you. If somebody leave because you done got on them about some sin that they done, don't worry about it. They weren't part of you anyway. So sometimes you have to do it open because it teaches the others at that time. That's like when you raise your children. When they do something wrong and you got the older ones, you get on the older one because you want to teach the younger that that's not acceptable behavior. That's why I got whooped in front of my other two brothers.
Amen.
Stacy did wasn't old enough. And all of us got whooped in front of them. My dad didn't take us one at a time. Man, sometimes when we wouldn't tell them each other, my mother said, whoop them all in. Then Jimmy But when we saw him whooping the other, whatever one of us got a whooping for, the other two know better to do. My dad only whooped me 5 times. That's all it took. But when he whooped, I used to like to whoop in front of Big Mama. Big Mama said, that's enough, and he'll stop. But if Big Mama wasn't around, he would whoop the one so long until the other two stopped crying. But he did it in front of, so it's not like y'all get the analogy on something? So out of love for you, out of my pastoral role, sometimes you have to rebuke and do it openly instead of teaching home. It's just as much as teaching as me doing right now. If I could probably teach you more. Okay? So we just got to open. I ain't worried about that anymore, so I can do it. Let's read Hebrews 3. 9, 17. So Paul said, you get it right when I come there, I'm operating in my pastor, my authority. Go ahead. Come on. Hebrews 13, 17. This says it all.
Obey them that have rule over you and submit yourselves, for they watch for your soul.
Hello?
And they that must give account, that they may do it with joy and not with grief.
Let's do that. It's nice when you're doing it the way God do it. Everybody's happy. Huh? Come on. Let's go. Let's go.
2 Corinthians 13, chapter verse 3. Since ye seek a proof of Christ speaking in me, which to you word is not weak, but is mighty in you.
In other words, what you call weakness, we done been over that in the church. He said it's not really weakness, but he used Christ's illustration. Even Christ being crucified, we talked about that Sunday. In the human eye, it looked like he was weak. But because he was crucified, that looked weak. On Friday, he looked weak. On Saturday, he looked weak. But early Sunday morning, he woke up with what? How much power? Not some power. All power. In heaven and earth. That's why I like to tell my God is almighty. When the devil come up to you and say, oh, I got might. Yeah, but you're not almighty. So sometimes God makes us weak so he can show himself strong through you. You don't need no strength till you weak. You don't need no power till you come on now. Why pray for power when you ain't weak? Say God give you power when you already got power. Okay, let's say this way. How much does that got to be? 250. Let's say they weigh 250. All right. I used to. I ain't did it a long time. Might be about $50. Let's say if I say, help me lift it, and I got it here, you're more apt to give me help. But if I got it up here, I don't need no help. Let's get it where we need to be so God can come help us. Instead of us think we can do it all by ourselves. God can help you in your weakness. Now, and if you help me lift it up, it don't make me look like me. But if I lift it up, somebody will get that when they get on. Let's go.
Verse 4. For though he was crucified to weakness, yet he liveth by the power of God. But we also are weak.
He was crucified in weakness, but he lived by the power of God. Sometimes you have to be meek. Meek is power under control. Just because a person meek don't mean he's weak. And most people that's powerful, they're quiet anyway. It's the one that is weak and scary, the one that has to. Remember I told you it looked like a little chihuahua. Then mama had a little bit of thing. That thing would keep moving on. As soon as you get it, you just look at me. That's what bullets do. They just keep it on off. Sell a lot of, we call sell a lot of wolf tickets. But I tell you what, when you selling your wolf ticket, that person just looking at you. You better run, or you shut your mouth one of the two. Come on. Come so what say? No. We're gonna go home when you read that. You got that? So we got Jesus' example, although you can look weak, but in your meeting, God got a purpose for you. In the end, you will have the power. It is God that worketh in you, both the will and the do. I can do all that. Why I can do it? That's Christ who is with you. You got the power. You know, we always put that one in Ephesians 3:20. God is able to bless us exceedingly, abundantly, above all, that with the power that worketh with in you. That's power in you. Come on.
But we shall live with him by the power of God toward you. Verse 5. Examine yourself.
I want everybody, we do this sometimes when we do the Lord's Supper. Examine yourself. Examine your lifestyle. Tonight, I want us to do this.
Yeah.
Think about, are you really saved? It says examine yourself and see if you in the faith. You say, you don't know. See, Paul was saying, some of y'all in this church just fake it. You ain't gonna make it. You need to examine yourself and see if there's any evidence. There you go. Look, Paul, Jesus was preaching in the Sermon on the Mount in the seventh chapter of Matthew, verse 15. Let's get that real quick. Then I want you to turn to Matthew 13, 25. And I want everybody to think about this tonight. Because you're a newborn star. I don't want you to be thinking you saved because you belong to this church. And I don't want you to be thinking you saved because I don't call out everything you do every time. You need to examine yourself. You know what you saved or not. Come on.
Matthew 7.
Start with verse 15.
Watch out for false prophets. They come to you in sheep's clothing, but inwardly they are ferocious wolves.
They come to church. They dress and act like Christians in sheep's clothing, but on the inside, they got the nastiest attitude. They just evil to the core. Come on now. Look like a sheep, but they wolf on the outside. See what they do? A wolf is a tiny thing. He'll try to pull you in, and he's looking for somebody weak. See, a wolf, that's why it's good to keep coming to church and be around fellowship. See, a wolf don't go and get sheep as a flock. He stands up and he wait till. Gotcha. You're gonna be down. Come on. Come on, Lisa.
By their fruit you will recognize them. Do people pick grapes?
Examine yourself. Are you better than the fruits? No. You know the fruits of the Spirit. And you're saying you're great, but people coming to you, you got thorns. No sound right, do it. Just like a fig tree. Jesus cursed the fig tree because he went there and he really got it. From a distance, it was green, looked like it all got up close to it, and he cursed it because it didn't have no fruit. That's where some of us is. Right from a distance, but start talking to them on the phone. Start talking to them. Come on. They'll give themselves away after a while. You get close to them, you really find out who they are. Come on. Come on, finish reading.
Do people pick grapes from thorn bushes or figs from thistles? Likewise, every good tree bears good fruit, but a bad tree bears bad fruit.
If bad in you, bad gonna come out. If good in you, good will come out. Come on.
Keep going.
Go ahead. Yeah.
A good tree cannot bear bad fruit, and a bad tree cannot bear good fruit. Every tree that does not bear good fruit is cut down and thrown into the fire. Thus by their
That's what they going
fruit
in here.
you will recognize them.
Don't fool yourself, examine yourself, make sure you're in the faith. Let's read the one in, before I let you go on. This is the wheat and tares story. This is one that Jesus was given an analogy and he teaches in the 13th chapter of Matthew. He's likening all these parables to the kingdom of heaven. He gives a simile for what the kingdom of heaven is like. So he's saying, let's read that one. I think verse 25 or something.
So while men sleep, his enemy came and sowed tares.
Who is the enemy? That's the devil. And how you sleep, you start coming to Bible study, or you come in your mind somewhere else. The enemy putting stuff in your mind right now. You're sleeping. Not literally sleeping, but you can sleep and be at church. You can tune me out. Don't tell me you can't tell me what to do. You sleep. The enemy waiting to sow seed. While you sleeping. Now wait a minute. What are you gonna do while you're sleeping?
So tares among the wheat.
Wait a minute. He sowed tares. What is tares? Tares and wheat look alike. So what he do is sow something in your mind that you don't need to listen to that. He sow something in your mind that you all right. In other words, he makes you justify and rationalize the stuff that you're doing that you know is wrong. So that way you will look like and think you're a Christian. Because wheat and tares look just alike. But the difference between wheat and tares, wheat got substance to it. So when it goes to it, and the wind blows against it, it'll stick. It ain't going nowhere. But wheat that don't have no seed is light. That's how they separate the wheat from the tares. They put it before they thrash it in wind. That's what Gillis was doing. Thrash it in the wind. And that ain't no good. It'll go. That's why you can tell people that's really saved. They are anchored in the Lord. No matter, the wind can be life experience. The wind can be somebody saying something in the church that you don't like. Then you're going to stop coming for a few Sundays. Come on.
Amen.
That's weak. A wind can just say, a wind can be blown, just a little trial you have in your life. Do you stay with the Lord? But if God is real in your life, if you're truly a child of God, you're going to stick in there no matter what you're going through. Because I know that all things work. I know whatever I'm going through, number one, I'm overcoming and God will put me through it. Amen. Amen. I'm sticking it. I ain't going nowhere. Because I know I can't do that without me. Amen. Come on. Finish being a weak thing.
And went his way. But when the blade was sprung up and brought forth fruit, then appeared the tares also. So the servants of the household came and said unto him, Sir, did not thou sow good seed in thy field? From whence then have they tares? He said unto them, An enemy had done this. The servant said unto him, Wilt thou then that we go and gather them up? But he said, No, least while they gather up the tares, they root up also the wheat with them.
In other words, you don't know whether somebody say, you don't know who's real, but God knows. And just because somebody, I'm gonna tell you, everybody in the church ain't saved. You'll get your feelings hurt big time, treating everybody like they're a child of God. The devil gonna plant people in this church that don't mean you no good. Right there in the text. But don't worry about something else in the text. God knows, see all, know all, and he will deal with all. One day he gonna separate the wheat from the tares. We may not know. You may fool us. Oh, you can't fool. How they say that? You can fool some of us sometimes, but not all the time. But you can't fool God. You sit up there like you weak with your terror self. You'll find out whether you real or not. And then they're going to gather it up, those same people going to hell. You're going to be surprised. I'm talking about just new one star. You're going to be surprised. I'm going to tell you, everybody new one star ain't going to hell. But I'm not going to blame myself for that. You don't get to heaven by joining the church. Remember, I always give y'all this announcement. Yeah, you go to the garage. Do they make you a coffee? Huh? You go to the zoo. Do they make you a coffee? You go to the open club. They'll make you a just because you go to the church don't make you a Christian. And sometimes that terror sit up there and look more like weak than weak to itself. But when the real day comes, you'll know who stayed and who goes. Let's go home now. But let's examine ourselves and make sure that we are in faith. All right, anybody here that don't have the Lord? You don't have to strain yourself, and I know you enjoy that for but if you're here tonight and don't know the Lord, we're going to do that. If you're here and you've been playing with God, stop playing. God is real, and He ain't never been played. And that's not in our teenage mind thinking that we get away with it. Tell it. It's a fearful thing. I mean, it's a power and anger. You do not want to play God. You will get played. Be here tonight and don't know the Lord. We're going to give you an opportunity to see Jesus Christ. Come on, church. Step them out. Leave them to Christ.
Admit. Romans 3:23. Believe that Jesus loved you so much that he died, was buried, and rose on the third day as a payment for my sin. John 3:16. Romans 5:8. Verse 16. Confess your faith in Jesus Christ as your Savior and Lord. Romans 10:13.
Now, if that represents something you want to do, they're going to lead you in a crowd so you can be saved tonight.
Dear God,
I know I am a sinner and have rebelled against you in many ways. I believe Jesus died for my sins, and only through faith in death and resurrection can I be forgiven. I now turn from my sins and ask Jesus to come
didn't want to be there. Sister London didn't come, but she sit on top. She got a tie, she got a regular offering, she got a Sunday school offering, got a church annual, got a Bible study offering, special offering, pastor annual, internet.
I'm gonna, actually, she said he asked for prayer, but she's getting back.
Okay, yeah, so that, that you have, you close in prayer, pray for her. Also, we got one more Wednesday, to, do that, and I think we'll get the book of Hosea. Remember we had Daniel and Hosea, but we picked Daniel, so let's just go and go to Hosea. So we're gonna be in First Corinthians Sunday school day. So we're gonna do that, see how the numbers, text me the numbers, see how they doing. And our goal is to try to maybe start Sunday school, in April.
Amen.
Let's see how March do. Sunday school gonna be from 9:15 to 10:05. So let's start practicing. If you can't be here at 10:15 for church, it's gonna be hard coming to Sunday school.
Yeah.
So let's start, at least start practicing being here on time. So we have 10:15, everybody like at that time. And then we'll be out here still in a couple hours. I know Sunday I will live it long, but we'll make up for it next time. See, I didn't want them to get too comfortable. Sean, you wasn't here about 2 Sundays ago. I shocked myself. I thought we said that about 20 minutes. What about 20, 25 minutes? I ain't did 25 minutes since you been here. You should have been here. I was right, but I'll try, come back Sunday, I'm trying to repeat that. Sunday. I'm trying to get, that's, Sunday, I'm trying to get it, y'all pray for 30, 35 minutes, I'm trying. Y'all pray. But, so read till that Sunday school lesson, we'll still stay on that. And we'll probably stay on that for a while until we get out of Sunday school. And even after we start, the first month will still be on. So I may finish doing it for the school head, then maybe in June or so, switch to more traditional. So get your Sunday school books, they back like that. Please pick up the Sunday school book. If we run out, you'll run all of them, a few extra. So I got a few extra at the house. So if you haven't got the Sunday school book, please pick it up. Don't forget I just got to read Sister London. Get our church in. Okay. Okay. Got them tax coming in. You don't do it then, you probably ain't gonna do it. Harry. Don't forget Sister Conway got a good doctor.
We come to work with you, Lord, to show you that we love you, we praise your holy divine name. We want to give thanks to you, Lord God, for waking us up this morning. So many didn't make it. We don't take it for granted, Heavenly Father. We come here to lift up your holy divine name, that you will let us continue to direct our path. Lord, we're living in a time of sorrow. We need you so much, Lord God. There's so much going on. We ask you, Lord God, to watch over each and every one of us, our loved ones, Lord, that we go through this tedious journey. Lord God, you say we can do all things through you, that it strengthens us daily, Lord God. But yes, we struggle with so much yet, Lord God. We are here tonight to let you know we love you. And we ask you to continue to strengthen us. Lord, strengthen Sister London, who's not feeling well tonight. You know everything about it. You know about Miss Conway. Lord, we're just giving you the glory right now, because you know you already got it. I just want to say thank you for allowing me to be here tonight. Lord, just thank you for every second. Thank you for keeping us, so we can learn your word, so we can love one another